Edward Heron-Allen FRS was an English polymath, writer, scientist and Persian scholar who translated the works of Omar Khayyam. Life. Heron-Allen was born in London, the youngest of 4 children of George Allen and Catherine Herring. He was educated at Elstree and Harrow School from 1876, where he developed an interest in classics, science and music. However, he did not attend university. In 1879 he joined the family firm of Allen & Son, solicitors, in Soho, London. The practice office was located close to the violin-making district, and Heron-Allen made the acquaintance of George Chanot III, a distinguished violin maker, and learned how to make violins, making some himself. He subsequently produced a book on violin making that was still in print over 100 years later. In 1885 he studied the Turkish language with Garabat Hagopian, the Armenian envoy in London. In addition to Hagopian, Heron-Allen sought the guidance of Charles Wells, a Turkish lexicographer. He was an expert on the art of chiromancy, palmistry, having read palms and analyzed the handwriting of luminaries of the period. He wrote several books on the subject and in 1886 went on a lecture tour of the United States. On his return from the USA he returned to his legal practice in London, but found time to develop his other interests, including the study of Persian. He made friends with Mirza Malcolm Khan, the famous Persian minister in London, and in 1896 he studied colloquial Persian with Mirza Ali Naqi of the Persian legation. In 1897 he began studying with Edward Dennis and Ross, professor of Persian at University College, London. He published a literal translation of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam from the then earliest manuscript in the Bodleian Library, followed by other studies of various versions up to 1908. He also published a translation entitled The Lament of Babi Tahir from a little-known Persian dialect, Luri. When Heron-Allen's father died in 1911, Heron-Allen retired from practicing the law and permanently moved to Selsey in West Sussex. There he produced a book on the history and prehistory of Selsey. He compiled a library of 12,000 books, including a collection of rare books on the violin, which he bequeathed to the Royal School of Music. As supporter of his local parish church in Selsey, he donated a church organ to them. It was built and supplied by J. W. Walker and Amp Sons Limited in 1912, and dedicated to the memory of Heron-Allen's late father. Heron-Allen also served in World War I, and his journal was eventually published in 2002. He joined the staff of the Directorate of Military Intelligence MI-7B at the War Office in May 1918, where he dealt specifically with aerial propaganda. He spent many years studying foraminifera. For this work he was eventually elected a Fellow of the Royal Society in May 1919. Heron-Allen's foraminiferal collections and associated library were bequeathed to the Natural History Museum, London, and are now housed in a special room on the 2nd floor of the Department of Paleontology named the Heron-Allen Library, in his honor. The collection is not just of Heron-Allen's books, but also contains the reprints and manuscripts along with the ephemera which Heron-Allen bound with them, including the associated correspondence, photographs, field notes, the various proof stages, miscellaneous invoices, artwork, as well as postcards and letters from recipients of his reprints. Heron-Allen also wrote on archaeology, Buddhist philosophy, the cultivation, gourmet appreciation of and culture of the asparagus, as well as a number of novels and short stories of science fiction and horror written under his pseudonym of Christopher Blair. Titles and accolades following list taken from Who Was Who. FRS 1919 Fellow of the Royal Society. FLS Fellow of the Linnean Society. FGS Fellow of the Geological Society. FZS Fellow of the Zoological Society. FRMS, Fellow of the Royal Microscopical Society, Irish Academy, Member of the Royal Irish Academy, Accademia Nazionale di Santa Cecilia, Member of the Academy of St. Cecilia, Rome, one of the oldest musical institutions in the world. Career following list taken from Who Was Who. Admitted Solicitor of Supreme Court, 1884. Special Commissioner of Music Section of Colonial Exhibition to Italy, 1885. Lecturing and writing in United States, 1886 to 89. Student of and lecturer upon protozoology. District Commissioner of Boy Scouts for SW Sussex, 1910 to 19. District Commissioner S.W. Sussex for National Service, 1916–17. Lieutenant 6th Volunteer Battalion Royal Sussex Regiment, 1917. Attached to Staff Intelligence Department War Office, 1918. President of the Royal Microscopical Society, 1916–18. Honorary Member Manchester Microscopical Society. Marine Biologist and Zoologist. President of the Set of Odd Volumes, 1927–28. President of the National Auricular Society, 1928. Select Bibliography. Barber Heroyan, The Lament of Barber Tahir, being the Rubaiyat of Barber Tahir Hamdani, translated by Edward Heron-Allen and rendered into English verse by Elizabeth Curtis Brenton, London, 1902. Omar Khayyam, Edward Fitzgerald's Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam with their original Persian sources, collated from his own MSS. London, 1899. The Philosophy of Omar Khayyam. Edward Fitzgerald, 1809–1909, Centenary Celebration Souvenir, Ipswich, 1909, pp. 17–20, on the place of the Ruba in Persian poetry with a special reference to the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. The Poetry Review 2, 5 May 1913, pp. 205–20. Presidential Inaugural Address. The Yearbook of Ye Set of Odd Volumes, 50th year, 1927–1928, Oxford, 1929, pp. 2–29. Some sidelights upon Edward Fitzgerald's poem, The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, being the substance of a lecture delivered at the Grosvenor Crescent Club and Women's Institute on the 22nd of March 1898, London, 1898b. Omar Khayyam. Edward Fitzgerald's Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam with their original Persian sources, collated from his own MSS, and literally translated by Edward Heron-Allen, London, 1899. The Rubaiyat, being a facsimile of the manuscript in the Bodleian Library at Oxford, with a transcript into modern Persian characters, translated, with an introduction and notes, and a bibliography, by Edward Heron-Allen, London, 1898a. The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, being a facsimile of the manuscript in the Bodleian Library at Oxford, with a transcript into modern Persian characters, translated, with an introduction and notes, and a bibliography, and some sidelights upon Edward Fitzgerald's poem by Edward Heron-Allen, 2nd edition, carefully revised and considerably enlarged, London, 1898c. The 2nd edition of Edward Fitzgerald's Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, London, 1908. Memoranda of memorabilia encountered in the course of a sentimental journey through the correspondence of Marie de Rabiot and Chantal, Marquise de Sévigné and her friends. Oxford, Ye Set of Odd Volumes, 1928.